Hello, wonderful minds. Here, your friend Aprajita is back with your English textbook, Language Odyssey, Class 8, by Knowledge Series, Amit Publishing House. So, children, ready to start a new chapter with me? Here we start with chapter number 19. And the chapter is Where the Mind is Without Fear. So, let's see what's there in the chapter. It's a poem, and what's there in the poem? We have to read it first. About the poem. This poem is a pre-independent poem in which the poet sincerely urges to God to awake his fellow beings for the realization of the essential need to live in a free and united country. This poem has been written during which time when we were not independent, when India was not free. And here the poet prays to God that, please God, awaken these fellow countrymen, my fellow countrymen, so that they realize that we need to live in a free country. हमें free country में रहना चाहिए. We should live in a free country and united country, जहाँ सब united हों. तो ये इंडिपेंडेंस से पहले की पोएम है. He wants his countrymen to awake and enjoy the life of full dignity and honor. The poet here wants कि सब हमारे जो countrymen हैं वो जागे और वो enjoy करें, जो dignity से रहें अपनी country में. Because when we were slaves, then हम dignity हमारी नहीं थी. We couldn't live in the country. हम freely नहीं रह सकते थे इस country में. So यहाँ poet pray कर रहा है God से कि countrymen जागे और एक free world में रहने की, एक free world, ऐसा world create करें, ऐसा world वो create करें कि हम free country में रह पाएं. Let's read the poem. क्योंकि जब हम free आजकल अब हम कैसे रहते हैं? We are independent. We are independent and we live in our country with dignity and honor. कहते हैं ना हम? तो ऐसे ही ये pre-independence की poem है. Children, let's start with the poem. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Now, the poet here says कि ऐसा country हो जहाँ की हमारे minds बिल्कुल free हो, कोई डर ना हो, किसी को किसी तरह का डर ना हो, और हम बिल्कुल dignity के साथ और honor के साथ अपने सर को ऊंचा करके जी सकें. जहाँ knowledge जो है वो free हो, सबके लिए free हो, और जो world है वो fragments में, pieces में टूट ना जाए. By narrow domestic walls, जो दूरियां हैं, लोगों के दिलों में दूरियां ना पैदा हों, कोई वॉल ना खड़ी हो बीच में. Where words come out from the depth of truth, दिल से जो भी निकले, जो भी आवाज निकले, जो words निकले, जिसके लिए भी कुछ भी कहा जाए, that should come deep from inside our heart. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. Up where the tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. सब लोग सबके लिए एक जैसा सोच रखे, सब एक दूसरे के लिए एक जैसा सोच रखे, प्यार से रहें और perfection की तरफ सब अग्रसर हों. हमारा देश जो है वो perfection की तरफ जाए, सब लोग सब काम में माहिर हो, सबको सब काम करने की आज़ादी हो. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habits. और जो एक clear thought सबके दिमाग में हो, वो पुराना boring and dead habits means old traditional rituals जो चले आ रहे हैं वो खत्म हो जाए, सबके minds बिल्कुल free हो सोचने के लिए. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. जब हम free होते हैं ना children, when we are free in our thoughts, जब हम सोचने के लिए फ्री होते हैं, हमारी जो इमेजिनेशन है, हमारी जो सोच है वो और वाइड रूप ले लेती है, जिससे वी आर लिविंग इन अ फ्री कंट्री। अब देखिए, अब इस टाइम पे हम लोग एक फ्री कंट्री में रह रहे हैं एंड टेक्नोलॉजी हैज डेवलप। किसने की है? सब लोगों ने तो की है। वी ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हैव डन दिस बिकॉज वी आर फ्री टू थिंक नाउ। हम सोच सकते हैं फ्रीली। दैट्स व्हाट द पोएट इज प्रेइंग कि हमारे एक्शंस जो हो वो सब पुराने रिचुअल्स खत्म करके वही सेम ओल्ड ट्रेडिशन पे चल के हम आगे कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं। we should be free to think ourselves, to think broad, to think wide. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. O Lord, please awaken my countrymen. मेरे countrymen को जगाइए और उनमें ये जज्बा भरिए कि हम इस स्लेवरी से, ये जो स्लेवरी में जी रहे हैं, because we were the slaves first, and इससे हम बाहर निकल सकें, हम एक आजाद देश में रह सकें। इसके लिए हमारे कंट्रीमैन को ओ लॉर्ड जगाइए और उनके दिल में इस स्लेवरी से बाहर आने का जज्बा डालिए। We all should wake up, all the countrymen should wake up and come out of this bad dream which we are living in. क्योंकि हम पहले एक गुलाम थे, गुलाम देश में रह रहे थे और उस गुलामी से बाहर निकलने के लिए लोगों का जागना बहुत जरूरी है, लोगों का एकजुट होकर मेहनत करना बहुत जरूरी है। तभी तो देखिए जो हमारे लीडर्स थे, they had sacrificed their lives for the freedom of our country. उन्होंने अपनी जान की परवाह किए बिना हमारे देश को आजाद कर दिया। Now we can breathe freely in the free country. So at that time when our country was the slave, then this poem has been written and the poet is just praying to God to awaken the country. And the poet is Rabindranath Tagore. आपने सुना होगा रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर के बारे में, उन्होंने तो बहुत फेमस है। He was one of the great poet of our country. So now children, in a nutshell, what you have read in this poem, to keep the country safe from wickedness, लोगों की wickedness से अपनी country को बचाना, for a nation free of all manipulation and corruption, जो भी गलत चीजें हो रही थी पहले गुलामी के वक्त, जो गलत चीजें हो रही थी उससे अपने देश को बाहर निकालना। Now testing time. So what we have read in this poem, हम देखते हैं हमें समझ में आया या नहीं। Where the mind is without fear, tear, truth, noise. Where the mind is without fear. When knowledge is clear, free, awake, high. Where the knowledge is free. Where words come out from the depth of false, wells, truth, knowledge. Where the words come out from the depth of truth. Where the mind is led backward, forward, both, none. Where the mind is led forward. So, इसको करने के लिए आपको पोएम को लर्न करना होगा, तभी आप फाइंड आउट कर पाएंगे कि इस लाइन को कंप्लीट कैसे करेंगे, कौन सा वर्ड आएगा। For that you have to learn the poem, children. Okay, let's move forward. In this poem, the poet dreams of a world where everyone is truly free. Pick out the lines from the poem that mean the following and write. Dignity and fearlessness. ये कौन सी लाइन से आपको पता चलता है इन चीजों का? Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Head is held high का मतलब dignity के साथ। So we have to write down this. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Now children, like this only you have to write the lines. I'll not write all the lines. I'll just tell you the lines. You have to write it in your note. Freedom of knowledge. कौन सी line आएगी poem में? Where the knowledge is free. Where the knowledge is free. Okay, this one also I'm going to write. Where the knowledge is free. Next is harmony and equality. Where the mind is without fear, where the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into narrow domestic walls. Where the world has not been broken into narrow domestic walls. This is the name. Okay? Where the words come out from the depth of truth. Truthfulness. Where the words come out from the depth of truth. Striving for excellence. कौन सी line match कर रही है इससे? Where the tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. And rational thinking, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. That's the rational thinking. Fine, children? Now, next is give rhyming words for the following. Fear. Okay, we have to write the rhyming words. Fear, tear. Fear, tear. Now, the next one is depth. Here, depth, kept. K-E-P-T, kept. High, H-I-G-H, high. Sigh, S-I-G-H, sigh. Habit, rabbit, R-A-B-B-I-T, rabbit. So, these were some of the rhyming words. Now, next is, who is the poet of the poem? Who is the poet of the poem? Sri Rabindranath Tagore is the poet of the poem. Sri Rabindranath Tagore is the poet of the poem. What kind of a country does the poet want for his countrymen? The poet wants the free country. Fine. Where knowledge is free. What does the poet mean by this phrase? Where knowledge is free means the knowledge where a country where the knowledge is being imparted to each and every citizen of that country. Whom had the poet addressed the poem to? The poet has addressed the poem to God. Fine. The correct meaning of the phrase dead habit is old habits, meaningless, a habit that should die. These are the old habits. Dead habits means old habits. What does the poem show that the poet feels for his country? Sorry, love, or ashamed of? The poet feels the love which the poet has with this country, that has been shown in this poem. Fine, children? So, here we end the chapter, and I hope you had a wonderful time reading this poem, because this poem is about our country, how the poet is concerned about the country which was not independent previously, and he wanted to awaken all his countrymen so that the country could be made a free country to live in with dignity and honor. Right, children? So stay clamped for the next video. I'll be back soon. Till then, bye.